Colombia has descended into chaos as the government cracks down on widespread protests, leading to more than 40 people killed, hundreds injured, and dozens missing, according to human rights groups in the country. Protests over Colombia's economic conditions have been nationwide, but they've been especially dominant in the western city of Cali, which has become the epicenter of the movement. It's also one of the places where police have cracked down hardest, using live ammunition and deploying less lethal munitions improperly. One of the deadliest days in Cali was April 30th, when 7 were killed, at least 3 of which in clashes with the police. International monitors, including from the United Nations, have called for calm and for Colombia's police to avoid violence in response to the protests. But up until now, details from the ground have been tough to come by. Working with our partners at Bellingcat and Cerosetenta in Colombia, we've collected and analyzed dozens of open-source videos and testimonies from those who were there to shed light on the killings of these protesters. Protests in Cali began when a nationwide strike was called for April 28th in response to President Ivan Duque's now-abandoned tax reform bill that would have increased taxes on low- and mid-income workers. The protesters were concentrated in the city's working-class neighborhoods surrounding the Simón Bolívar Highway in the southeast of Cali. Demonstrations were largely peaceful on April 28th and the 29th, but there were a few arson and looting incidents. There was also at least one death. A young teenager who was shot by a police officer. 4 others were killed in Cali on those 2 days, but there is no video evidence showing the moments that they were shot. And then, on April 30th, the police came out in greater force, specifically in the Calypso neighborhood. The resulting clashes left at least 3 protesters dead and more than 28 injured, although the number is probably higher. These deaths occurred near the Calypso neighborhood along 2 roads, Carrera 29 and the Simón Bolívar Highway. Large amounts of tear gas were used in the morning, with the officers eventually switching to live ammunition in the afternoon. One officer near the 12 de Octubre neighborhood here can be spotted with a CTAR-21 rifle. The officer is part of Colombia's Special Operations Group, or GOES. Other GOES officers were filmed in the same area where you can clearly see the identifying marks on their uniforms. In one video taken from above the police a couple hundred meters away in Calypso, you can hear them firing at the protesters, who were just around the corner. In a video shot from behind this police line, you can see at least one officer holding a rifle. It was in this area that 2 of the protesters, Edwin Villa and another unidentified man, were eventually shot in the street. Villa can be seen here with a white jacket on, bleeding from the head and lying on the ground. The other man is on the ground near him, apparently shot in the leg. Protesters rush towards Villa to grab him and bring him back to safety, eventually putting him on a motorbike to transport him to a nearby hospital where he is pronounced dead. Minutes later, another man, Einer Lasso, is shot and killed. He can be seen here in the CCTV footage from a grocery store about 300 meters away from the police presence. The timestamp in the footage shows him falling over from an apparent stray bullet at around 5 o'clock local time. Multiple videos show Lasso's body lying in the same spot for hours. These are just 2 of the incidents from April 30th. In another clear overuse of force, an officer with a Mobile Anti-Disturbance Squadron, or SMAD, uniform chases down a protester before pushing him down and firing what appears to be a tear gas canister at point-blank range. While this protester is said to have survived the encounter, another one who was reportedly shot in the face with a tear gas canister was killed. His name was Rosenberg Douglas. The only video showing Douglas could not be geolocated, but we've been told it was filmed here in Calypso, near a rec center. The videos of that day in Calypso show that police fired continuously at protesters with live ammunition for at least half an hour. Cerosetenta reporters also found evidence of bullet casings collected by witnesses in the area. Cerosetenta is mapping out violent incidents involving police throughout these protests in Colombia and has collected hundreds of videos documenting potential cases of police abuse. And with the nation's police director general committing to punish police who abuse or kill civilians, the database could be a valuable tool in bringing accountability across Colombia.